when you look at investors they're getting so used to the tariffs and the negotiations as it relates to it, they're not being as spooked as they were in April when the market really dropped. I think people are starting to realize that the tariffs are more of a tactic than just a flat tax all the way across the board. As the current administration continues to negotiate back and forth, it's not having the detrimental effect on the market and the economy as everyone thinks.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. This is Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Hey, we're already in June. It's 6/5/25. We just got numbers and little soft interest rates. Well, surprise, surprise, they're coming down. Maybe Trump will actually learn to love Jerome Powell after all. Edward Siddell is with us now. You find Eddie at EGSIFinancial.com. Eddie, welcome back. So what's your take on the numbers?
Well, thanks for having me back. And, honestly, we weren't shocked. They're a little soft. And I think we're going to continue to see a little bit of a slowdown until rates get lowered. We do believe they are going to lower rates probably in not in this next meeting, but they are going to lower them once, if not a couple times by the end of the year. They're going to have to. I mean, they're already late to the game. Although, like right before we started, I was shocked at the University of Michigan's projection for inflation going up 6.5% next year. I don't know where they got that number from. I was actually trying to find the report before we started. But that's well, I think it has also a lot to do with the tariffs and how they're projecting the tariffs and the impact that that's going to have. But again, 6.5% is super high.
It's ridiculous. But it all depends how you calculate inflation. But the way the Commerce Department does now, labor statistics, then probably is spot on, especially if gas prices stay down, right?
Right. Absolutely. And that's really the whole thing is when we're looking at inflation, if energy prices, gas prices are down, that really transcends the entire economy because we're a petroleum-based economy from, not just transportation, but, all the way to pharmaceuticals, all the way across the board. So if those costs are lower, how can inflation be rising?
Yeah, but what about the Green New Deal? Like you're just going to put a solar cell on top of your car and you're going to go from there, right?
Well, that's right. That's right. Did you see the report that came out today to beware of those solar panels and inverters coming from China, that they are now finding software in the inverters? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Where did that come from? I mean, what's going on here, Eddie? I mean, this world gets crazier by the day, don't you think?
It almost sounds like you can't make this stuff up. I mean, you really, really can't. All the way across the board, it's just it's nuts. To include, the reconciliation bill. Some of the
beautiful bill, you mean? That bill?
The big, beautiful one bill, all wrapped in one, where we're adding to the national debt. If you especially look at the CBO report, and again, how they calculate these numbers, how they discount it, it goes back to that old saying, there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics, right? So it's amazing how they can make the numbers look however they want.
Yeah, well, it's not really amazing, is it? This is a case of been there, done that, and got the T-shirt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that probably bothers me more than anything else, with it being in the Senate and the one issue, it almost seems like there's a couple senators grandstanding just to get the publicity without a whole lot of support behind it, in what they're really saying. It seemed like Senator Halley is kind of backing down a little bit and going along with it, because the reality is we have to extend the current tax cuts. If we don't, it is definitely going to tumble not just the markets and the economy, but it's going to put us in a very deep recession. So I think it's going to get passed by the end of summer. I don't think it'll be by the 4th of July, but again, I continue to not be surprised.
Interesting. So where are we heading here? What do you think the market's going to do, and where do you see all this heading?
Well, so the first thing that has to happen is we've got to get the reconciliation bill passed. So once that happens, then we can start with deregulation from the energy sector to the financial sector, all the way across the board. That's going to spur on growth. I think when you look at investors they're getting so used to the tariffs and the negotiations as it relates to it, they're not being as spooked as they were in April when the market really dropped. I think people are starting to realize that the tariffs are more of a tactic than just a flat tax all the way across the board. As the current administration continues to negotiate back and forth, it's not having the detrimental effect on the market and the economy as everyone thinks. Now, when we're looking at a lot of companies, including Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan, they're cautious, very, very cautious as it relates to their future and setting expectations, because they want to make sure that if their earnings aren't where everyone's expecting them to be, the stock prices aren't going to get that big of a hit. So we're seeing that all the way across the board, from Walmart to Amazon, everywhere. So, but that also creates really good buying opportunities. I'm very bullish on the market. I think it's going to be positive by the end of the year, all the way in every indice. There's a lot of still really good buys out there. And I think long term, over the next 18 to 24 months, we're going to see unprecedented growth.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. Barring some major geopolitical situation, it's like they keep criticizing Trump, like, oh, you just imposed these tariffs and didn't talk to anybody, didn't do anything. Look, post-World War, we're talking 80 years of the U.S. carrying the world on its shoulders economically and basically dissipating our wealth, and all in the name of being a good superpower, a nice superpower. And they weren't going to respond, and they weren't going to react unless Trump did something really drastic. It's that old story, Ed. The guy's got a donkey, and he's trying to push it up a hill, and it won't go, and it won't go. And then he takes out a 2x4 and slams it in the head. And this guy's watching, says, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Says, he's not paying attention, but now I got his attention. And that's what Trump did. He slammed the 2x4 on the donkey's head. If he hadn't done that, nobody would have come to the table. And these deals are going to happen way, way faster than anybody out there knows, because there's a secret weapon involved here that I call Trump GPT. And that is Trump's personal AI assistant. He's used to having a whole bunch of servants. He's got a new one. It's an AI servant. And they feed in the trade deals, find how we're being screwed, rewrite the trade deal with enforcement and say, do this or else. And all the other countries are hemming and hawing, but you're seeing them line up to make deals here.
Really, what people don't realize is you keep hearing on the media, right? I mean, it's just, if it bleeds, it leads. They want to make it gloom and doom. The sky is falling. But the reality is that the U.S., America, we hold all the cards because we're the largest, consumer nation in the world. We're also the largest debtor nation, in world history. But in order to gain access to our markets, you have to be able to, be willing to play the game. And we're changing the rules, and that's huge. And these tariffs, it's affecting China more negatively than it is us. And people are looking for other supply chain avenues. When I say people, other countries, not just America. So I think this is good for the world economy, but especially for us. And that's really what's most important here at home. It is going to be really good for us long term.
Yeah, could not agree with you more. I totally agree. And it had to be done. And, the U.S. has stopped becoming the world's checkbook. That's the intent. USAID being eliminated, all these other NGOs being cut out. And we're going to see. So what about the fact that Congress isn't even cutting anything from the budget in this big, beautiful bill? They're basically leaving it all for Trump to flex his executive muscle, right?
Well, they are, and that's probably the most disappointing thing when you have, albeit very slim, a majority in Congress, supposedly, where there's fiscal conservatives. And even as DOJ was going through and finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse, Congress has to come in and legally reappropriate that. Otherwise, they continue to receive those monies, and they won't do it because they're worried about reelection in their constituencies. So they're leaving it up to Trump to be the big heavy hand. Because and here's the issue: if we don't actually fix this, we're going to continue to be the world's financial patsy all the way across the board. Because with these NGOs, let's face it, they're basically government cutouts, and we're funding those to do things abroad. And it's benefiting all these other countries. And we do have to stop that in order to be fiscally responsible and be good stewards of taxpayer money. And, that's money coming right out of, my pocket and your pocket.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So looking ahead, though, basically, he's just going to cut the money off and let them sue. And I think that the Impoundment Act of 1974, I think it was, is unconstitutional. It reined in a power that presidents have had since the republic was founded. And really, I don't see that they're going to be able to do anything to stop him.
It'll be interesting to see how the Supreme Court rules and what the opinion is going to be on that. I would be shocked if they rule against Trump and his authority and power. But again, stranger things have been happening. So, but again, they're going to leave it up to him. And, that's a good thing because he's going to do what's in the country's best interest. America first, which you have to love.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree with you more. Hey, so when we have this conversation on June 5th, 2026, where's the market going to be at?
I think, honestly, it is probably going to be at least 20% higher than where it is right now. Mm-hmm. There's a couple caveats, right? Here is the caveat. The number one caveat is the reconciliation bill. That has to get done. As soon as that gets done, then the rest of the dominoes are going to fall. So that is first and foremost. There's a couple other things, and like you said earlier, bar some geopolitical strife. But yeah, I'm being very, very conservative. We're being more bullish than that. We have redeployed a lot of cash and capital back into the markets. We are about 93% invested for us. So we believe that strongly in where the market and the economy and everything is going over the next 12 to 18 months.
All right. I like it. Ed, just tell us where we find you again, please.
EGSIFinancial.com.
All right. Links in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. And while you're there, please sign up for a free newsletter. Also, we've got a Substack. The link will be in there as well. And a lot of valuable info, where we actually discuss the rise of Trump GPT. Ed, appreciate you being on. We'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.